Most people buy this category wrong, not because they chose the wrong product, but because they bought it for the wrong reason. There are one or two things that actually settle this decision, and they almost never appear in the headline spec. Think about the actual moment you will reach for this. Not the unboxing, not day one, the third week in, when it just needs to work without you thinking about it. That is the bar. The SmallRig BMPCC 4K and 6K Tage for Blackmagic design pocket cinema camera, 4K and 6K W cold shoe NATO rail. Q3 is built around not for 6K Pro. High customization SmallRig BMPCC cage is specifically designed for Blackmagic design pocket cinema camera 4K and 6K. It would not block any buttons on the camera, and you are able to access not only the battery but even the SD card slot. It could be used on DJI Ronin S or Zhiyun Crane 2 gimbal stabilizer. That is the thing that separates it from what is sitting next to it at a similar price. It is not trying to be everything. It is trying to do this one thing at a level that earns its place. The first feature worth understanding is not for 6K Pro. High customization SmallRig BMPCC cage is specifically designed for Blackmagic design pocket cinema camera 4K and 6K. It would not block any buttons on the camera, and you are able to access not only the battery but even the SD card slot. It could be used on DJI Ronin S or Zhiyun Crane 2 gimbal stabilizer. In practical terms, that means you are not fighting the product to get a result. It absorbs the friction that usually slows you down. The second is perfect protections. Secured tightly via 2 screws on the top and bottom, 2 detachable small pins are used to prevent your camera from twisting. Rubber pads on the bottom protect your camera body from scratching. This one looks minor on the spec sheet, but it is the thing you notice every single time you use it after the first 2 weeks. And the third is mutable mountings. This cage comes with multiple mounting points, such as 1, 4, and 3 threaded holes, cold shoe, and 3 locating holes for ARRI standard, allow you to attach more accessories like microphone or SmallRig Articulating Arm, 70, etc., which is more useful than it sounds until you actually need it. Together, those 3 things explain why this one has the reputation it does and why it keeps showing up in comparison with 2 years after launch. What the listing will not tell you is that featured recommendations compatible with Ronin S and Crane 2. For a better setup, please search SmallRig mount for Samsung T5 SSD 2245, SmallRig lens adapter support for Metabones 2247, and SmallRig HDMI cable clamp 2246, which are exclusively designed for BMPCC. That is the thing buyers consistently flag after extended use, and it is actually more useful in practice than the spec alone suggests. Here's where I have to be straight with you though. NATO rail features built-in NATO rail that allows you to quickly release accessories with NATO clamp, mounting SmallRig's side handle 2187 for handheld shooting. If that does not match your situation, there are better options, and I would rather you know that now than after you open the box. People who have used this long-term consistently mention featured recommendations compatible with Ronin S and Crane 2. For better setup, please search SmallRig mount for Samsung T5 SSD 2245, SmallRig lens adapter support for Metabones 2247, and SmallRig HDMI cable clamp 2246, which are exclusively designed for BMPCC 4K.